The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. ULTI.TV.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. ULTI.TV. ULTI.net.
Real quick sprints, take the disc briskly, sunshine glints off my frisbee crisply, knows how it goes with the sand between our toes. We got both of the pivots and all of the throws. Got to hold the disc and move it at the right time. When you flick your wrist and you're feeling sublime, compose your throws, not discuss fluttery, tricks from the brick and your biscuits buttery. Feel the spirit, stretch every sinew, stream encourage, yeah, we continue. Take my hand, yeah, come with me, from the disc to the sand, to the beach, to the sea. There's magic in the air, all you have to do is catch it. EBUCC 2022.
As the dulcet tones of yours truly fade into the background, we welcome you back onto the beaches of Portimao, the Atlantic, glinting away in the distance. And it's the European Beach Ultimate Club Championship, and this is the Open Division bronze medal match between Jetset of Belgium and Solaris from Poland. Tom Stiles alongside my good friend Benji Rees, and the wind has got up, the sun is taking a little bit of a break, but it's still brilliant conditions for Ultimate.
I always admire your humility at the start of a broadcast, Tom. Dulcet tones. Yeah, the wind really has picked up a little bit. Stiffest it's been all weekend. We're actually, dare I say this, a little bit cold at top of the storage container. Feel like I should have worn my snazzy ULTI.TV jacket, but alas, I do not have it. Instead, all I've got to warm me up will be, hopefully, a scorcher of a bronze medal match. The first two haven't quite played out that way, so hopefully there'll be a sharp about turn in the closeness of these contests.
Two very different semi-finals to get here as well. Jetset on the end of a rather emphatic drubbing from Fendisk, the Spanish team from Santander. But Solaris in a very close tie-up with Salaspils, which they eventually lost. But maybe the closeness of that game could either affect Solaris by giving them, you know, all the firepower and the energy, and or it could have meant that they had a really tough game and they're exhausted for this bronze medal match. What's your call, Benji?
Yeah, only an hour off, so not a lot of time to make any adjustments that you might need to. I think the big leveler here is going to be the wind. How quickly can teams use it and adapt to it? It's going from right to left and towards the camera as you see it. So we are catching the full face of it pretty much here, Tom Stiles.
Yeah, straight into the sun, straight into the wind. The flag's on the far side, rolling around, and a rolling POL, which has just rolled out the back of the end zone, which is a bit of a gift for Filip Drobranowski. For Solaris, Solaris in red, Jetset in white. It's a battle of Poland and Belgium as these two club sides face off in the bronze medal match here at the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships. And high stall count's going to have to be a quick dish away. And he eventually does manage to find some relief, but still on the end zone line as the wind whistles down the field. Gets it across to Holdnicki. Zaton finds a way through to Kozmalski, the stat leader for this Solaris side. Filip Dobronovsky, one of the two Dobronovsky brothers. And just as we say that, there's the other one, Lukasz Dobronovsky, looking for the Dobronovsky connection. The two tall Poles anchoring this handling line. The team from Wrocław in Poland, far from any beaches, but packed full of talent. Oh, floating disc into the end zone. There's going to be some pressure underneath this. Oh, but they know the man. Mateusz Kosmalski, adding another stat to his already impressive collection from the tournament so far. When you've got receivers who can get up and bring it down, you can throw anything you like.
2-on-1, but Kosmalski cares not about the numerical disadvantage. Still going to find a way through. It must admit, it was a bit of a struggle to get things going there at the start of the possession for Solaris, but eventually they were able to work it downfield, and then a leading pass here, Łukasz Dobronovsky just sitting that one out there, asking Kosmalski to sky the pack, and Kosmalski delivers.
Yeah, obliging with the aerial antics in the end zone.
You mentioned he's their leading stat compiler. 6 assists this tournament for Kosmalski to go along with 20 goals now.
Impressive. And it is mainly a crosswind coming straight towards us from where the sun is, really. So sun and wind coming from the same direction. But if there is a bit of an up-down wind, that was into the wind as well. So big opening point hold, despite a lot of pressure from Jetset. Solaris showing their composure. Damari now spreading the play over to Christoph Phillips. Damari available on this near side and gets the flick back from Phillips.
Damari currently 4th on the tournament stat leaderboard for the Open Division. Any quick guesses who might be ahead of him?
Is it Kosmalski?
Actually, no. I'll give you a little bit of thinking time and we'll come back to it at the end of the point. A pick is just going to provide another stoppage to proceedings.
Christoph Phillips on the far side. Well, there's been so many games. All the teams will have played, I think, 10 or 11 games, depending on their route through to the final by the end of the tournament. So lots of ultimate that we haven't seen. Jetset with Damari. Eventually does find an outlet to Heymans. Fok gets it back, Damari, and now Damari has it again. Hard, determined cut up the line. Big bid comes up. Looked like there was control, and he's accepting the strip call.
Yeah, Szymon Poznański, I think, accepting that he got there a split second late. It did look quite strippy to me here on the sideline. Disc will stay with Lucas Kestens.
Kestens. Not very much to look at downfield. The offhand release finds Damari. Lowers the body to the sand, doesn't release, sends it back for the reset.
I think he was thinking about lasering that one into the end zone, but with the wind, probably decided better of it.
Heymans now. High stall count, but plenty of time. Damari's fakes are determined and gets enough space into the end zone now. Jetset doing it as well. Both teams scoring towards the wind, and the Atlantic looking slightly less sparkly than it has done over in the background as well. But 2 holds to begin with here in the bronze medal match.
Yeah, do have a little bit of cloud cover for the first time this weekend. Jetset deciding that with this wind, maybe they don't want to see anything too ambitious. So even though they got into a couple of high stall counts, they are happy to really utilise the brake side when they need to, focus on moving it between the handlers, and eventually they get the reward, flowing it into the end zone. Heymans to Kestens for the goal. Those leading stat getters, by the way, in the Open Division. Dan de Marais is in 4th. In 3rd is the big man, Johan Leanderson, with a very Johan Leanderson stat line, 2 assists and 36 goals. And 2 players for Chronicle Dizziness lead the way, Taiji Pasinia and Johan van der Wood.
Impressive. The Dobronovsky brothers get us going for Solaris. Huge bid laying across the sand. Moyensen comes up empty-handed as Solaris continue their progress across the Portuguese sand. And coming in to take that disc away, it was overthrown from the receiver and a travel called. It will come back. But that is the first turnover of the game, going to the way of the Belgians. Jetset with an opportunity to break.
You're seeing the effect of the wind there, because it pushed it towards the near sideline, past the intended target, and it meant that Moyasson was right there, ready and waiting to collect it.
Jetset finding a gap through to Moyasson. Has a look downfield. The cut comes back underneath from Smertsart. Smertsart needs to be a bit more careful with those discs. The wind tempting any throw upwards away from the hands of the receiver, but this is good progress to Derek, knocking on the door of a break here. Big pressure. Oh, that's floaty, but it's beautifully balanced on the wind, and August Smertsart drifts towards the back of the end zone away and led by the disc for a break to Jetset.
Yeah, Jetset getting on top early here with the first break of the game, taking advantage of the Solaris throwing ever. What Derek saw when he got that disc was, well, initially he didn't see anyone in front of him, so held it for a while, and then he notices the face mark up against Smertsart, and that is, as a thrower, generally the green light. Put a little bit underneath it, just lead the receiver into space.
Great body language there. Just shrugs the shoulders. What am I supposed to throw out here, team?
And then he sees it. The defender, Łukasz Dobrowski, who's just, doesn't have sight of the disc. He knows it. Smertsart knows it as well. So just a little head nod, like, here we go. Put it up into space. With the wind, not as easy as you might think, but Derek executes well, and it's 2-1 Jetset.
Solaris, middle of the field. Hosniski sends it deep. Dobrowski the target. No problem at all for the Poles, connecting in 3 passes to level it up at 2 apiece. But Jetset with the 1 break advantage.
That is the cleanest either side has looked offensively this game. Getting the deep cut, well isolated. Didn't get it taken off too early, so you've got to pin it on them, or too late, so you've really got to sit it. Good timing on it. Going towards Holnitsky, and he's with no force. He's kind of got time just to steady himself, just lean down on it ever so slightly. Dobrowski has his man beat to the end zone, 2 apiece.
Well, bronze is not what these 2 teams were wanting to finish today with, but having started with losses in their semi-finals, they've reset, a little warm down and then a little warm up again. Very small gap between the 2 games in order to squeeze all the other finals in this afternoon.
Yeah, both of these teams losing their first games of the tournament in the semi-finals, were undefeated until that point. Although, as we saw, Solaris had that brilliant comeback in the quarterfinals to reach this stage, and although we didn't see it on stream, Jetset had to come from behind against Sandjob as well.
Big raking disc flying high, plenty of time and space. Wow, what a put that was. Not the angle of attack that we've seen on some of the other deep shots, but seeing Van der Roost with plenty of space and just releasing the disc and letting the breeze carry it gently towards the back of the end zone for the score.
Have a look at it again. Just a little 1-2 in the backfield. Derek sees the option and doesn't really need the second invitation. Gets the shape on it right, floating downfield. Sumptuous backhand there. Delicious stuff from Emil Derek, and Van der Roost catches to make it a 3-2 lead. Second assist already of the game. Derek maybe not his best game statistically in the semi-final. Looks like a strong return to form for him here, as that ball lands just out of bounds.
Now, some throws that go deep are kind of like a knife. They're sharp and they're direct and they're pointy. That one was more like a cushion, wasn't it? Kind of float and lots of air underneath here. Plenty of time for it to gather into the arms of the receiver. Dobrowski now. Oh, Filip Dobrowski puts the disc too low. Big bid, but it doesn't connect. And Jetset with a chance for a second break here, capitalizing on Solaris errors. Dishes it back to Damare. There was contact on the foot. Damare perhaps unable to gain his footing. There was definitely a bit of contact here. Let's have a look at it again. Damari pivots back. There is...
So when he's going to catch it, there's not necessarily contact. But it's the contact before, as he's trying to go into the backfield, that means that he doesn't have his balance to try and catch that as he wants.
Well, I think the defender's got every right to feel a little aggrieved about this. He's just trying to keep up with Damari, and Damari kind of clipping the legs as he tries to accelerate away. Let's look at this. There's no malice or intent even in that.
It doesn't necessarily have to be.
Did he initiate contact though, Benchy?
That is the question, of course. What we think in the booth doesn't necessarily matter that much. It's all about the players on the field coming to a resolution that they're happy with, and that is the contested foul.
So yeah, it's been contested. Damari and two players colliding downfield. Foul
Zaton
called
on the ground.
Tomasz Zaton picks himself up. I think he's a little uncomfortable there. He's just poised, ready to take off again. Jetset darting around, trying to find a reset, but there's brilliant defense from the Poles. And there's a stall out, which is Damari going to contest this?
The stall outs, it's so tricky for us to tell because we just do not have ears down there at all. So you can really hear when he got that out. It's like a contested stall. You can see how much the flags are fluttering in the background in that wind. And Zaton comes through with a block.
Getting it back for the Poles. They started this point on offense, so they need to put it in to get the hold. Oh, a floated disc forward, another beautiful bit of touch. Zaton grabs, he lands on the line. He has to stand up quickly. Can he find a way in? Passes back, gets the reset, and then at the front cone, eventually, it's Łukasz Dobranowski with the assist, and Mateusz Kosmalski with another goal to add to his incredible tournament.
Doesn't get on the stat sheet for goals or assists, but that's all about Zaton with that throw on the high stall from Demare, just getting in the area, making himself a nuisance, and then laying out the trailing edge. Brilliant grab from Zaton. He wants to force this into the end zone to Kosmalski, but Wisely says no, we'll just go backwards with the offhand to Dobranowski. He's got the angle there just to pop that in to Kosmalski at the front cone. Level once more at threes.
Another great example of the downwind touch, one of those big cushiony throws, lots of height, and letting the breeze just carry the disc down. But that one drifting away from Zaton required a big bid. A little bit more height on the previous example. 3 each. And Solaris eventually getting it in. They come down here on defense. And can they keep the pull in? This time they can. It's just drifted out the sideline, but that's a brilliant position to start off.
A horrible pull to try and field.
No one wants to catch those. Laser of a disc downfield, going to take some running to catch on to it, but the running is there, the grab is there. My goodness me, what a grab. Arnoud van der Oost with a catch for the highlight reel.
Derek and van der Oost have got that chemistry down. Maybe it was misfiring. They didn't have the formula in the semi-final, but they've gone back into the lab. They've changed the ratios, and this time they got it bang on. Derek coming underneath out of the center of those 3 downfield, turns immediately, sends the heater. Can van der Oost get there? He's on the horse and leaps off it superbly. Outstanding catch there from Arnoud van der Oost. 4-3 to Jetset, and I tell you what, that is a goal that is one of the things you love about beach. Getting the under, you can send it deep, and you know there's never any question about whether the receiver's going to lay out, because on this surface, why wouldn't you?
Filip Dobranowski, another almost identical pull downwind into this windward corner, and an almost identical shot back upwind to counter it. Pressure from Jetset, some contact made. Is there going to be a foul call? No, just happy with the contact. He still had a chance to make a bid, and it's going to stand as a turnover. Jetset with a chance, but the full length of the fields to go.
I don't think Robain's got a touch on it, but he did enough to stop Kranitsky bringing it in, and that's all that matters.
Floating downwind, jumping in, not quite there yet. Damari pops it in, and Jetset have another break.
It's a cheeky little push pass there from Demarais. Tried to jack that one into the end zone, as you mentioned, but landed just short. Not a problem. Keep your composure. Doesn't matter that there's a little bit of wind. You can still generate a fair few revolutions on the push pass and into the end zone for the score. 5-3 Jetset lead. They are sailing away with this slightly. It's just a shame from a Belgian point of view that they weren't able to get this together in the semi-final. Here's the goal on the replay. Demarais catching it just outside the end zone. And then can he find a receiver? Popping it in on the end zone line for the score. I believe that is the man who helped put the pressure on at the other end, Martin Robains.
One of the beautiful yachts, or is it a local ferry?
Almost like looks like a cruise ship almost.
It's very.
It's a big old unit.
Big old unit sailing into the Portimao Marina, just past the fields here at the European Beach Ultimate Club Championship. Solaris and Jetset battling here, and Solaris under a bit of pressure from the Belgian side. They have the disc now. Solaris spreading it downfield. Paris got another good set of stats this tournament. Dobronovsky. Paris considered the continuation down that line, but pressure from Jetset forcing him to rethink. Good chase down from Nowakowski, and eventually shoving it into the corner. Real determination from Gregor Nowakowski down the line.
Dobronovsky catching for the score. In the end, I like how, while they wanted to flow downfield, they were happy to have players, think, okay, I'm rather than go far away, get disconnected, just going to hold up a little bit, so you've got a swing available. And then here, Paris really isolates Novakovsky on that reset, gets him to come all the way around, and Grzegorz Novakovsky flows into the end zone to Łukasz Dobronovsky for the score, who's been involved in all of their goals so far this game, 2 assists and 2 scores. So thrown half of them and caught half of them here so far for Solaris today.
Yes, the Dobronovsky brothers, legends in the European Ultimate scene out of Wrocław in Poland. A brilliant host city for some of the big tournaments. We had the World Juniors and Joint Junior European and World Championships.
Yeah, so it was World Juniors, which is under 20, and European Youth, under 17. That one turns over underneath, out of the hands of Robains.
Chance for Solaris to get one of those 2 breaks back now. Philippe Dobronovsky. Oh, the pass was there, but the wires were crossed. Maciej Paris watches that one sail away as he'd already started his cut. And Jetset launch one deep. Damari the target. Is he going to jump it in? Not quite. Lands on the tapes and then makes the quick pass. That was all that was necessary. And Kestens with his 2nd goal of the game for Jetset.
Sorry, Tom. It's the 2nd time that Dan Demarais got behind the defense, tried to jump it in and come up a hair short. But no matter, because Kestens realizes that I need to get on my bike just in case. And the follow-up is the most casual of pops in for the score. Bit of a lost opportunity, though, there for Solaris. It has to be said, this is how they got it. It's a little bit far out in front. Robains maybe could have made the play, just not on that occasion. Blade around from Dobronovsky, looking for the continuation, but I'm trying to find out who that is.
It was Maciej Paris.
Just plants and goes back in the other direction. So, and Podgaini continues that flow. Miscommunication happens, turnover comes, and then trying to strike while the iron is hot is Jetset. Do establish that 2-point lead again at 6-4. That's the first turnover this game, though, by the way, for Jetset's O-line.
Philippe Dobronovsky to Łukasz Dobronovsky.
I say Jetset's O-line. They're not playing strict O and D lines, but when they have started on offense, it's their first turn from Jetset.
Krynicki to Filip Dobranowski. Krynicki again. Oh, that's a flick into space. Dobranowski rises. The defender blindsided. Arno van der Roost was in the area. Probably could have got a touch, but just didn't know where the disc was, and it lands safely in the Polish hands of Łukasz Dobranowski for a third goal of the game.
You called it, Tom. It's hard to get a block on it if you're never quite sure where the disc is. Probably just didn't get the signal that it was in the air. There's some Solaris fans on the sideline with a very large plush penguin. The fields are maybe a little bit out of place on the Portuguese sands, but, you know, why not? Whatever floats your boat, I guess. And here's Solaris getting it on that far sideline. Krynicki has the opportunity to blade it across, and you mentioned Van der Rohe sees it late, but Dobranowski leads it all the way, 6-5.
Do you know what floats my boat, Benji?
Water, buoyancy.
There you go.
Oh, it was that.
It wasn't that.
Oh, that's disappointing.
I was going to say buoyancy is what floats my boat.
You mean magic?
It sometimes feels like that. That big boat that just came past was an absolute beast, but...
So I live on the south coast of the UK, so a lot of cruise liners come through the Solent, and I have no idea how they stay afloat. They're like massive apartment blocks. It's ridiculous.
Jetset, only worried about one thing, and that is how they can make their lead extend. That's a throw to the back of the end zone. Big pressure! Oh, but the pressure doesn't matter. And it's come down into the hands of Elias Ravia for another point to Jetset. They continue a very clean game. Only one turnover for their O-line so far. And they take the half here in the bronze medal match.
Phillips there utilising the full depth of the end zone, because that one had a lot on it and required some chase. There was a wonder whether Ravia would get there in time, whether it would go out the back of the end zone, whether the defender would be able to close, but Jetset's deep game that misfired in the semi-final is back on song here. 7-5 lead into half for the Belgians, and they are receiving to begin the second period.
Yeah, we'll be back with more from the European Beach Ultimate Championships in just a moment.
EBUCC Electric, become a member.
I've not seen that advert before.
Really?
No, it's the Milan slide. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm convinced it's magic, but it's actually, I think he's just on a longboard.
Electrifying coverage from ULTI.TV here in Portimao as the action in the Algarve continues. Jetset starting the second half on offense. Can they convert this opening possession to really stamp their authority into this bronze medal match? Floated disc around the back to Kestens. Calling the receivers forward. Damare happy to oblige, and then a quick pop in. It makes it look so easy. Martin Robbins with the goal. Damare with another assist. 3 in the game so far, and an 8-5 margin.
Jetset looking very, very good. At the moment, Jetset are set for the bronze medal.
Well, Solaris yesterday, they look beaten, they look defeated.
Oh, I'm by no
Krakens.
means counting them out. Here's Haymans, who caught the score that took them into half. Just, you see him beckoning cutters underneath. Damare obliges, and then the continuation. It is a riser, but Robbins decides the best thing to do here is jump up, so I've got that nice level plane, rather than with the sand you go up and down. So if you go and try and sneak it one-handed, sometimes your hand's not quite at the level you thought it was, and it ricochets off the fingertips or off the wrist. So by jumping up, he creates kind of a nice solid, not solid necessarily because he's not on the floor, but steady platform. Comfortable clap catch, 8-5 Jetset.
It also makes it very, very difficult for the defender to get there if the person the closest to disc is already in the air. Makes bids much harder as well. Deep shot, downfield, Filip Dobronovsky on the bike, he lays, and he just comes up with a face full of sand and no disc. In Jetset with a chance now to take a 4-point lead. Another break here would be a stamp of authority that Solaris will struggle to recover from. Damari plants a foot, but that's a terrible disc. Damari's going to have to bid hard to get it. Oh my goodness, he comes up with the disc. Can he find a way into the end zone? There's a player there, and he finds the pass. Damari stamping the authority for Jetset.
Damari. Whoa. I think that throw to him was, it sounded quite slappy to me. I think there was the signal that there was contact on the throw. Doesn't matter, Dan Damari wants to catch anyway, and then continuing it into the end zone. Not hanging around there was Viska, making the reception for his first goal of the game. Let's have a look on the replay. This will be the one, I think, here that we're interested in. Gets the defender biting, floats that one up.
That's a terrible disc.
It's not great, as you say. There might have been contact on it. Really good pressure. Desperate to earn the turn back there is Dobronovsky, but maybe just gets a little bit too committed on the force. And that leaves the window through into the end zone to Viska. 9-5 Jetset now.
And Dan Damari with 4 assists in the game so far. Jetset really using the experienced Belgian. The team from Leuven in Belgium.
By the way,
a dropped pull.
Wow.
And
a real aberration there from Holniski.
And a chance to take a 10-5 lead, and they've done it, popping it in. Martin Robbins with the easiest point he'll score all day, standing open after that dropped pull, and the heads go down from Solaris. They're 5 points adrift here in the bronze medal match.
Wow. I mean, the last thing you need in this sort of scenario is a drop pull. We've seen Solaris have these big comebacks, but when that happens, there is a bit of you that thinks, okay, maybe it's just not our day. Could be heartbreak on the sands of Portimao again for the Poles. But this is why you go for those awkward blading backhand pulls, because they're difficult to catch. And Holniski can't handle the heat. And a heartbreaker, one pass in for the score. The Polish Open side missed out in the bronze medal game at EBUCC in 2019, losing to Spain there. And for Solaris, could be another semi-final appearance that comes up without a medal. I was going to say, by the way, that with his performance so far in this game, Dan Damari has leapfrogged up to number 2 in the Open Division stats table.
You're sounding like Dr. Pop now, don't you? Straight in at number 2 with 4 more assists. Solaris bringing the disc to the front of the end zone line. They came back against Krakens in their quarterfinal. A magnificent run of goals. Big gain of yards here into the hands of Dul. Gets it back to a Pagani. Different look from the Solaris line here. They've switched a lot of the players around. Pivoting to get free. Paris. Zaton. Big bid comes in, opens up the space. Happy to oblige, and they do work it in. And the tacticians in Solaris have realized that Jetset had got the measure of their O-line. The O-line looking at 6s and 7s, so they switched the whole thing around. A completely new set of players comes out for the O, and Solaris stick it in, stopping the rot and getting back to 10-6.
So now the question is, can they find the fortitude to power that comeback? And good spots on rotating the O-line off. A, gives them a bit of a break. B, gets your other players into the game, keeps them fresh, keeps them involved. Dul, who had that screamer of a catch to win the quarterfinal yesterday evening. At that time, a much more comfortable reception. Bring it down, and then they're working outside the end zone. Zaton down the sideline, and there Kasper Podgajny just flips that one in to Maciej Paris, and it's 10-6.
That's the first point that Solaris have scored that didn't have Łukasz Dobronovsky at one end of the disc.
That is true.
Solaris opens up the shoulders and sends a big disc towering through the Portuguese breeze. Damari stretched to get that one, and then sends a disc racing across the sand, and a turnover from Jetset. I think that's only the second turnover from the Jetset O-line. Demurray, a little bit too hasty.
Only their third turnover all game. Yeah, you're right. I think because Demurray is off balance, he can't hit that shot as fluidly as perhaps he would like in that position, but he still wants to throw it, so he rushes it a little bit and just puts way too much zip for the receiver to get a chance.
Filip Dobronoski, big pivot, convincing pivot, and creates this bit of space. Two players go up, no question. Kosmalski reaches, and contact made. Demurray, no contest. Oh, it's an accepted foul call. It'll stay with the Poles.
Yeah, quickly accepted. Back in play with Kosmalski.
Kosmalski now looking for a way round, and the more contact made, another foul call.
He just needs to maybe take a step off there. This is not the first time Demurray has been caught with his hand in the cookie jar.
He's had such a good game. Maybe wants to continue that form. Maybe trying a little bit too hard. Filip Dobronoski busts up the line, gets himself free, centers it now. Holnicki back to Dobronoski. Back to Dobronoski again.
If they keep giving it to you, just bounce it around the backfield until you can finally get a bit more separation and movement downfield.
Podgani sends one racing through. Holnicki goes horizontal to collect it and then just paints the disc into the end zone, and Kamil Ozicki collects. He scored that big point at the end of the Kraken's game. And he's here again. And that is the first break to the way of the Poles. Solaris climbing the way back in at 10-7.
We told you not to count them out, and yes, they've still got a lot of work to do, but it feels like they can be a little bit hot and cold, Solaris, but when they are hot, they are red hot. They are more than happy, you know, committing their bodies to the bids and on the sand. Why wouldn't you be?
And we also saw Jetset have got the ability to generate some turns, generate some errors. Not in this game so far. That Dan Demurray deep shot to the turf really was the first example of a throwaway from Jetset. But in the previous game this morning, their semi-final against Fendisk,
Fendisk really pressured them.
And Jetset couldn't quite live with it. So Solaris now, no. Maybe there's an opportunity opening up. Can they establish some momentum with a second break? The D-line chases down hard. Jetset. There you go. Fast fingers of Svizicki. Just darting in front of the handler, trying to get that first 10 seconds of pressure to count. Jetset unable to get out of their own end zone at the moment.
Derek has ditched the cap.
The pressure unable to be maintained from Solaris. They've not quite as frenetic now, but Jetset still not making very much progress. A hand comes very close. Now the deep shot goes up. Plenty of time and space. Smesser chases, but it just gets caught by the breeze. And it is another turnover to Solaris. Can they put it in?
I think with the edge on that throw, it's always going to come towards this sideline. It's a tricky read, I guess, tracking it all the way. Could he have changed line earlier? Potentially. Not sure Solaris really mind whether you put that one or the thrower or the receiver. The point is, it's still a turn.
Oh, it's the finest of angles. You know, two or 3 degrees change of angle, and it would have carved back towards the receiver. But with the breeze getting underneath it, it lifts it and sends it long.
The one thing I was thinking of, could it have been the backhand kind of rolling back into the pitch?
Certainly would have been a different look. Over the head, but a D of the highest quality. Jetset with Emil Derrick.
I mean, what a way to make amends. Peeling off there, flying through to get the block, and just the frustrated hands there from Swiancicki. Like, why did I not know he was there? How did I not get the call? Derrick looking big again.
Brilliant defense in the end zone. Solaris with a great block. Michael Doul gets the fingertips up to the disc.
Well, clearly there, Doul is thinking, oh, there's no way, if you're going to D my huck, there's no way I'm going to let you get away with one either. All of a sudden, this game's become a little bit more topsy-turvy. First point this game with multiple turnovers, by the way.
And the entertainment factor certainly rising as well. Michael Dulcels sets off to the end zone. Their fingertips are close. Paris floats the disc into the path for a good cut. This one's going to catch a bit of breeze as well. Dulls underneath it, waits. Contact made. And there's going to be a conversation happening here.
You can tell that whenever he's on the field, Solaris are not afraid to call Dull's number. And accepted foul, he's going to keep the disc with Solaris here just outside the end zone.
So this is a chance to get 3 points in a row, 2 breaks in a row, going to the way of the Poles. They were trailing 10-5. They could pull it back to 10-8 here. Huge turnaround and momentum change in this bronze medal match. Could the Poles find something here? Dull goes to the turf and from his knees launches a disc. Mathieu Paris runs onto it for his second goal of the game. And Solaris have rallied. They're back within 2 of the Belgians here.
10-8. Game is still very much on here, Tom, with just under 10 minutes to go until the time cap goes off. For Jetset, getting that little lead going into the break was so important because it meant 2 0 points back-to-back, tacked on a couple of breaks as well that made it 4 on the bounce as they went from 6-5 to 10-5. But now 3 in a row from Solaris. Another comeback potentially looming here for the Poles. Can Jetset keep their noses in front?
Well, this game was always finely balanced, but not much has changed out here. But those little fine errors that were going the way of Jetset earlier have now gone the way of Solaris. They fought hard. You cannot count out the Poles. They scored 4 points in a row to win their quarter-final yesterday against the Barcelona team Krakens. And they've scored 3 in a row here to get themselves back in this game, but they still trail by 2. And Jetset just need to get some composure here. Damari downfield, and Damari shows that exact lack of composure we were talking about, throwing away. Dobranowski picks up quickly with enthusiasm, looks downfield, threatens the deep shot, goes back across, and it's a poor disc from Dobranowski as well. The weariness of a weekend on the sand paying for both these teams, and Damari calls a timeout.
Yeah, another I can't even say the words, such is very fitting. Miscommunication there between Dobranowski and the intended target, Kamil Oshetsky. So with things, again, maybe getting a little bit fractious, not in terms of spirit, but just in terms of play. The timeout was called by Jetset, but I'm not sure if they have one, maybe?
They're talking to the scorers over here.
Yeah, well, it seems like the timeout is being taken whether they have it or not, so maybe a time for us to get our heads reset in the booth as well, Tom.
Wow, the action in the Algarve continues. Myself, Tom Stiles, alongside Benji Rees, an absolute treat of a game. We'll be back with more from the European Ultimate Beach Championships in just 1 minute.
Right now.
He's going to have to bid. Oh, just a football!
Huge layout block. Unbelievable stuff on the front corner of the end zone.
Maybe just that boost of energy they needed. Huge swing pass and a great grab there from Spear.
The fans starting to gather in the stands as it's finals day here on the beach in Portimao. The European Beach Ultimate Club Championships reaches its final stages. Jetset needing to get a disc in here, putting it into the end zone. No mistake this time. Solaris have scored 3 in a row, but Jetset are stopping the rot and getting that one of their own. They move back into that 3-point lead, 11-8.
You see there the value in calling the timeout for Jetset, because everything was looking a little bit discombobulated. And Jetset maybe worried about that crash landing, choosing instead to set and steady themselves, getting the swing underneath to Heymans, and then the continuation down into the end zone. Heymans to Robbains with his 4th goal of the game. Jetset keeping pace in front of Solaris, 11-8, 2 points away from the bronze medal.
It's game to 13. It's also a 45-minute time cap. The Portimao hats, one of the ULTI.TV crew, bringing the extra headwear for the sunshine.
Yeah, must admit, a lot cloudier today than it has been on the previous 2 days this weekend, and the wind is stronger, so just something else for these teams to have to contend with.
Oh, there was almost a turnover on the first pass. Arno van der Roost in a good position, but couldn't get the block. Solaris looking for the reset back to Lukas Dobranowski. Spreads the play. Nowakowski sends it deep. The target is Kosmalski, but it's way beyond him. And it goes into the sand. Damary walks towards it and then decides, no, that's not my disc. August Smessert comes to take it for Jetset instead, and a chance for Jetset to move that one step closer to the bronze medal here.
First point of the game, you might be able to chase that down or put a bit of an effort in, but at this point of the weekend, when you're running on fumes almost, it's just too far.
Dan Dimary pivots. High grab required from Smessert, but he delivers just what was required. Durick. Dimary, floating disc, is it going to be there? Oh my goodness me, what a grab! Determination! Eyes locked on the disc, the right hand extended. There was no way he was getting both hands to that one. A stretching disc from Dimary delivers another point, and Jetset within one of the bronze.
Smessert there. You see when Dimary gets this towards the near side, he looks up. There's only one thing he's got in his mind. Can we break here to put us on the precipice of the bronze medal? And, well, Zaton actually finishes us a little bit there, but we'll let him off because it's still a sensational snag from August Smessert. Full extension with a right hand, comes up with a face full of sand, but most importantly of all, he comes up with that pink Euro disc. Thankfully, we've got 2 angles. So you can see it from the high angle here, in the slow motion. Scorching stuff.
Pressure on Solaris now. They need to score this. Well, they'll be finishing in 4th place. Can they find a way through the Jetset defense? Team in white pumped up. Dobranowski's been making those up-line cuts all game, but he was well marked out this time. Dool sends it across to the far side, waits for the reset. Dool tracks forward and catches into the end zone. There is plenty of time and space. Solaris making that one look relatively easy. Jetset a yard behind on every pass.
That time it's that little lead pass through to Dool that is the killer, because with the defender behind, especially because he bids and doesn't get there, Dool's got no pressure on this throw. So open side, break side, it doesn't matter. As long as you've got a step of separation, he's going to be able to throw it. And he just pops that one in to Braniecki at the front of the end zone. And Zeeby makes it 12-9. This is a similar scenario to where Solaris were against Krakens. At that point, they managed to find the run they needed to take the universe point win. Can they do it here? The way Jetset have been playing, it's going to be a tough old task.
They be digging deep into their reserves, deep into their resilience. A team that know each other well. They have to come down here, and we see Dobranowski, Filip Dobranowski, crossing over onto this D line.
Here's brother Łukasz also there. So is Kamil Osiecki. We've got Kasper Podgaini and Mateusz Kosmowski.
This is basically the universe line for Solaris. They need to get this block to stay in the game. A lot of pressure. Disc floating across, 2 players underneath it, but it's expansive and finds a space. Van der Roost returns the disc down the line. This could be it, and it is. Jetset take the bronze here at the European Beach Ultimate Club Championship. The team from Belgium celebrate, and it's a magnificent 4-point 13-9 win.
Thoroughly deserved. With, I think, if they they're honest and self-effacing with it. A bit of an underperformance and disappointment in the semi-finals for Jetset. They really bounced back strongly here. Some brilliant plays defensively, great catches, scorching throws, and just a little bit of sloppiness from Solaris. Gave the disc up really far too readily, and defensively, when Solaris forced Jetset into those high stall situations, they're able to find their way out of it, either just getting a reset off at the last second, or as we saw there from Derek, using expansive, creative throws, putting a bit of inside out across the field there, into a space where the receivers are always favourite to get it, and then the continuation as well on the break side, down the line. Van der Roost finds Smeset for his third goal of the game, and Jetset will be flying home to Belgium with the bronze medal.
Commiserations to Solaris. Brilliant to get through to those semi-finals with that big quarter-final win, having 4 points in a row on to win on sudden death. And they should be happy with their week here in Portimao. But congratulations to Jetset. Don't forget, if you've enjoyed the coverage here on ULTI.TV, you can support the work by going to patreon.com/ULTI.TV. And we'd love you to do that. From myself, Tom Styles, from Benji Reese, and all of the ULTI.TV crew here in Portimao. Thank you very much for watching. The bronze medal goes to Jetset of Belgium, and there'll be more action from the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships in Portimao in just a bit.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. ULTI.TV.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. ULTI.TV. ULTI.net.
ULTI.TV, EBUCC lyrical.
Merci beaucoup.
ULTI.TV.
I really wanted to get it right, trying to find some balance in my life. I never really put up a fight, and now I'm losing sleep. What if I lost touch? What if I'll never get it right? I try to follow my heart, but I lost it somehow. Wish that someone could say it'll all be okay. Just listen to me.